Okay, I just want to make a little quick review here of my new toy that I got. I have been, well, I'll just show it. I got a new radio. I have been using this one for the past, probably 6 to 8 months. And I really like this radio. It's a great radio. I can fly it all day because it's got full size 18650s. It's super easy to use. Um, Really, I don't know why. I've always I went from the Zorro to this. The Zorro just has awful batteries. I Somebody made me an offer on the Zorro, so I went ahead and got rid of it. Uh, so this has been my daily. It just doesn't offer enough switches. Is my only problem. You know, I have a couple drones with like GPS return and stuff, so this just I've needed a better radio that had those extra channels like the Zorro. The Zorro just always bugged me with the battery thing. Now I have modified it. I cut these out. I took a soldering iron and just kind of, with an old tip that I use for melting plastic, and I just kind of moved it around real slow and then snipped out the little pieces going up and down, and then it just ripped out. So that's a little ugly, but it actually works real nice. It fits good on there with my stick-ins. So, but anyhow, this is a nice little radio. The only thing I can complain about is that I think this would be the arm button for me. And the wheel, I wish they would have put them the opposite direction. I wish this was at the bottom swapped. I had that T14, and it had that you can customize this panel or whatever switches. I wish they would have done that with this. That is my only gripe about the radio. But I think once I get used to that, as a matter of fact, what I'm thinking about doing is I'll use this scroll wheel to make a lockout. So it has to be perfectly centered to arm, and that way there I could just fail safe it or whatever by hitting that, or so I don't accidentally bump it when I'm moving around. Safety lock, keep it so you can't arm it. So that'll come in handy and work out real good. The second complaint is they said that these are all new designed gimbals. They feel perfectly fine. I mean, they're nice and smooth. They feel a lot better quality than their past gimbals, like on the T-Lite and the I had that T14. But yeah, these things are like buttery smooth feeling for plastic. So I have no complaint with that. I don't really see the point of aluminum. They're both mounted on bearings. The bearings doing the moving, so they should feel smooth if they're good quality. If you slam, it doesn't have that hard end. But these feel pretty solid. I mean, I think the actual where the screw goes in the plastic is what's actually moving there. But I don't slam in real hard when I'm moving anyways. But my biggest gripe was the height of them. Now, I put my own stick ends on with the jam nuts to keep them up as high as they can go. But I don't know why they put such short threaded part on there. So there's not a lot of adjustment. These screws, they should have left them longer. But that's just a personal gripe. Luckily, with my stick setup on there, the length of those, the height of the actual, my stick ends being kind of tall, really made the difference. But the factory stick ends that come with it were, I mean, the full stroke was just like a twitch of your thumb. So now it's more, I mean, it's a little more, it's still, that's not a lot of movement. Not when you think of something like this where I'm going, I don't know, go. Actually get them lined up here. I don't know. With the longer, I got it feeling about the same. It does feel a slightly bit farther travel. Maybe quite a bit, actually. It may not look like it, but it feels like I'm moving this one a whole lot more side to side than what that one is. But these are almost full-sized gimbals in this one. They're not Hall gimbals, though. A lot of people complain about that, but until you wear out the pot or you leave it in a wet, damp environment, there's nothing wrong with pots. The Hall effect just won't go bad for that kind of stuff. But anyhow, I like the radio. So far, I'm happy with it.
Welcome to HTX.
Speaker doesn't sound as bad as the old T-Lite.
Switch warning.
I don't know what switches are on. I've been bumping it around. But anyhow, that's my, I love some of the things, like they just came out with that new GX12, I think. Yeah, GX12, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I just need to have something that's a little more ergonomic than that. I just don't think I would like it, but boy, that one has everything in it. But this one's half the price, so this is going to be my new daily driver. But it feels pretty good. I'm probably going to add a couple of these because I have a lot of hand nerve damage and stuff in my hands. So I'll probably put like a row of these down across just so I can get more feeling of the radio. And but it does have the rubberized grip bottoms. So it's probably one of the better feeling quality-wise radios that I've seen from Jumper. That was actually very surprising. Was just a little bit disappointed on the switch layout and my and the gimbals. You know, they said new and improved gimbals, but that's kind of a short stroke. Side to side's not bad, but I don't know. It just feels like it's moving not as far up and down. But they feel good. And so far I like it. It's the best radio for me. And that's why I'm using it. I also have a Fly Sky Nirvana. It's just a little too big and bulky to carry in my backpack with my other gear. So I like the size of this one better. This one's actually smaller overall, I believe. I've had them side by side, but it's just, I guess with the antenna, they are about the same. It might be slightly bigger, I don't know. But weight-wise, just a tiny bit heavier, a smidgen. I really like that radio. This is a great radio. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna get rid of it. There's nothing wrong with it. Just I needed a couple more channels. Now I had the Nirvana. I don't really care for the Nirvana because the way that you have to use the module, I don't like extra stuff hanging off my radio. Like that's where the Zorro, I wasn't going to put no batteries hanging off the bottom of it. That's dumb. Shouldn't have to do that. Why would you ever make something like that? But anyhow, they finally did a good job making a radio. This is probably the best radio I've seen. Now, I haven't had the T20. I was really looking at the T20. But it's just more square. I kind of like the way that the edges kind of angled. It feels better. The squareness of a radio. Just, I'm a bigger guy. And when I say big, I mean round. So when I'm reaching around, it feels like I'm working my wrist straight on it. That's why I'm a thumber, because when I naturally hold it, I'll have it, the antenna's got to be up, I'd have it in my hand like so, and to crank my wrist around that way just feels super awkward. I was never able to pinch. Like I say, I have a lot of nerve damage and hand damage. But alright, it's getting a little long. I'm just rambling. So hopefully that helps somebody. There was just two big factors that I wanted people to know. Everything else is what you expect. You'll be happy with everything else. Just that the stick length, you're going to have to do something to extend it. I got lucky that my normal stick ends, now I had to put that extra gap thing in, but or the jam nut, and but I do wish this button, maybe if they would have made it a little wider or up a little more, sticking out a little farther this way past the scroll wheel. It's just, it feels like when you hit it, like I'm not pushing the button. You actually gotta, because you're hitting the scroll wheel at the same time and it's stopping my finger. So I gotta kind of go up above it and then push it in past the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel is just in the way. I might actually, hopefully somebody might 3D print something. This piece of plastic is not the actual switch. It's just the part that you push on. I'm hoping maybe somebody will 3D print one that kind of sticks out a little more. Maybe comes out, just has like a little bit sticking around up here that's a little easier to find and hit. So, I don't know, if Jumper sees this, maybe they could come up with something like that. Where you just open it up, take the switch out of the way, pull off that piece of plastic, and because usually the micro switches are all the same little micro switches inside. So, something like that. But otherwise, I'm keeping her. She's good daily driver. That T14 I got or whatever, I tried out. I just didn't like, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. I just felt really awkward with it being so big and straight. And I could have gotten used to it in the long run. But my main factor was that this stick, when I got it, wasn't, the shaft wasn't even in the gimbal. And I put it in there and it was just like loose. You couldn't tighten your gimbal stick. It just spun, the metal shaft just spun down inside the gimbal. So my T14 had a bad gimbal. Now I build and sell drones, so I was just I wanted to try the T14, and I figured, I'd just sell it as part of a drone kit. But I had to return it because of AliExpress's return policy or whatever. I didn't know if Jumper would send me a whole new gimbal or what they would do. I didn't feel like really tearing apart a radio, so I just sent it back to AliExpress as being defective. Since that, like I say, this wouldn't stay in, and I could have glued it in or whatever, but I don't want to sell somebody a radio that was tampered with. So it just went back to AliExpress. So I got this one on AliExpress, and I'm very happy with it so far. Alright, have a good one, guys. Happy rippings.